It's good to see those of you that are here on site, and we got a sizable group joining us virtually as well. So thank you for being here this day. Friends, as usual, we will begin with prayer, and Dr. Bill LaBar will be leading our prayer today. Will you please stand?
I just want to take a moment before we start to focus our hearts and minds on the beginning of the school year. The pastor, Trinity Eulis, not the pastor, the principal, is a good friend of mine. If you saw last week, they had a threat and evacuated the whole school into the football stadium. I texted him and I said, "You've had an interesting day." And he says, "One I would not want to duplicate," and then of course Uvalde, which is hard for me. So, oh God, we give you thanks for the blessings of this day, for this club, for its work in our community. We ask your Spirit to be upon us, all the things that we do together, to bless this food, to be upon our guests this day, to bless this food, to take it to the nourishment of our bodies, and to keep us in your peace. In the name of Christ, amen.
Thank you, Dr. LaBar. Richard Grayman, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. You place your hand on your heart and repeat. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, y'all may be seated, and while you're sitting, I would like Val to give us a little foundation update. Val Bozak is our foundation chair, and she's got some interesting news for us.
So I was raised in a service-oriented family. My dad was a member of Rotary in northeastern Pennsylvania. So when I traveled here, got settled in, I wanted to join Rotary. I've been doing service work. I've been attending the district meetings, and I'm on the board as well. So I wanted to do a little bit more and reach people that I personally cannot reach. And I've done that through, yesterday I joined the monthly payment, the monthly donation for Rotary. So I'm kind of happy about that. I went through the whole process. It's different than the Club Runner, from what I understand. It's different from the Club Runner website, where it's my.rotary.org. And you can, I would suggest that you register. You can donate without, as a guest, without registering, but you want to have your information on the district, on our club and district as well. So there's the annual fund share, and that's where, that's what I selected. That's where it comes back, a portion of it comes back to us through the grants, the DDF. There's also the Polio Fund, the World Fund, and Disaster Response Fund. Those are the featured causes. And then we have areas of focus for the environment, peace building, disease prevention, water sanitation, and hygiene. So, but the annual fund share is where it goes to the World Fund portion of it, and then a portion of it comes back. So that's what I selected. And then I'm counting on Rotary to, distribute as needed. So, that link should be included going forward in Mara's weekly emails if you need it. And if you have any questions, or if you would like some help in signing up, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you. And we have one other quick announcement. Our Director of Club Services is going to remind us about our upcoming Family Promise project that we have. So without further ado, I will let Dr. Jose Parra give us an update there.
Thank you, President Blake. So we've got a small dedicated group of individuals who have I would guess about 3 cycles now. Gone ahead and delivered meals to 2 families. The family Promise serves. These are families that are somewhat kind of down their luck, and their houses, apartments, kind of south of Irving. But anyway, this small group has done a great job. And so the next round, the rotation coming up will be on the week of the 18th to the 24th of September. Just want to give a heads up on that. And I also want to say this, we have vacancies. If anyone else would like to go ahead and participate, it's a very simple process. All you have to do is buy some meals, enough to serve 2 families. And then you just commit to delivering them on a designated day during the week that we have. So it's a very simple process. I'll be happy to walk you through it, and certainly if you need some assistance with delivering the food, I'll be able to help you do that as well. But anyway, if you have some interest and are not participating now, be happy to help you get involved. It's great club service for us, and really impacts families in a way that I can't even describe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farr. All right, and I don't want you to be shy about participating because you may not be a good chef, but if I can do it, then you certainly can. So you don't have to make it all from scratch. I often go buy a rotisserie chicken from Walmart and then make some sides to go with it. But whatever you can do or buy is appreciated. So please let Dr. Parra know if you are interested in doing that type of service. And now, without further ado, we have a wonderful program today. We have with us the Director of Port Services, Jennifer Bozorgnia, and we are so thankful that she jumped in at the last minute to help us out. But we have a really good program in store for you today. So without further ado, Jennifer is going to introduce the other guests that she has with her, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us here today. As mentioned, my name is Jennifer Bozorgnia, and I have the privilege of working in our municipal court department for the city of Irving. I know traditionally, whenever you hear of a municipal court, it's not something that most people think very fondly of. I don't know about you, if anyone has ever received a citation, I'm not going to ask for any hands. Oh, okay, but you're welcome to give them if you like.
I'll confess.
Well, and I'm right there with you. I have received a citation once or twice myself. And I will say that the city of Irving and the Irving Municipal Court prides ourselves on our customer service philosophy. We recognize that people are people, and whenever they come into our department, we want to ensure that the service that they receive is higher than any other department or any other court that they may have ever visited. The statistic says that the majority of our population will have interaction with the municipal court, and that's the only interaction that they'll have within a justice system ever in their lives. And so we are that testimony of what our justice system looks like. And so being that representation, we ensure that the customer service that we provide is better than any other. In addition to that, in the past, whenever you think of a municipal court, you think punishment, right? They're here to dole out fines and fees, and all they do is collect revenue. Well, times have changed, and that is not what our purpose is. Our purpose is truly to be a partner within the community. We have impacts in a variety of different ways. We have partnerships with nonprofit organizations throughout the Irving community, and really our goal is to assist those who come into our offices. We have a fantastic judicial staff who truly feels like public service entails assisting people to make them better than when they left, better than when they came in, should I say. So with all of that being said, I have actually brought with me today 2 rock stars of our department. And yes, they are amazing. When it comes to taking the village to ensure that court operations happen, they are two of our best, and they ensure that our operation is smooth. The first that I'm going to introduce for you today is Shelley Masterson. She's our court operations manager. She's worked with the city for more than 30 years, and she has been instrumental in many of the evolutions that have made our court a tier above the rest. Whenever other courts look to the best and the best standards, they look to the city of Irving, and Shelley has been the reason for most of that. So I am proud to present her for you today, Ms. Shelley Masterson.
She made me sound so old. Okay, so as she said, my name is Shelley Masterson, and I'm the court operations manager. And I just kind of wanted to share some information about what a municipal court is. You hear about municipal courts, but you may not know what we do. So I'm going to be talking to you about the different agencies who file cases at our court. What we used to refer to as traditional case processing, and then some things that we've added recently that really make us, a step above other courts. So the first thing is a municipal court is a Class C misdemeanor court, which means that it's a fine only court. It's considered criminal in nature, but basically just those lower level offenses like traffic citations, code enforcement violations, and things of that nature. We process approximately 48,000 cases a year, and of those 48,000 cases, a little about 50% are actually city of Irving residents. The remaining 50% are people traveling through our city. So that's always interesting to note. We have several agencies who file cases at our court. The police department files cases at our court, the animal shelter, code enforcement, fire department, North Lake College, DFW Airport, and so we have a little section of the DFW Airport, I should say. And so once those cases are filed, you might think that you would be required to come in person. And in the past, that would have been correct. However, over the last few years, especially with the pandemic, we found ways to process cases without having or requiring people to come in person. So once you receive that citation, you have several options to handle that case. You can plead not guilty and come back for a hearing. You can plead guilty or no contest and request that case be off your record. So there's lots of options. We also have community service for those who cannot afford the fine fees, but need to take care of that case. And so we have lots of options. As Jennifer said, we have phenomenal judicial staff. Our prosecutors as well work with people to find the best option, best means to handle their court business with us. Over the past, I believe in May of 2020, we began allowing people to make requests to do things online that they formerly would have been required to come in person for. So things like, you probably heard of them, defensive driving, not that you've ever had a citation, but defensive driving, deferred disposition, things like that to keep it off the record. Well, now those things can be requested online. When I talked about pleading not guilty, we have several hearings that can be done virtually now through Zoom. So you can do it in your pajamas and the comfort of home. And so we have lots of things like that going on. We also have a live chat feature. If you ever go to the City of Irving website and you go to the municipal court page, you'll see that we have a little live chat box on the bottom. And if you ever just want to chat with us about anything non-court related, no, I'm just saying that. But if you ever have a question about your court, your case, or anything related to the court, you can just hop on that live chat and you can have a real-time conversation with the court clerk, and it's tailored to whatever your questions are. So over the past, one of the other things that we did was when we have someone that is arrested and they're in jail, our judges have to magistrate them. So they have to, the person has to enter a plea with the judge. A lot of those things are being done virtually now as well to keep our judges out of the jail, but are still able to magistrate those inmates. There's a timing that is required and they have to do it within a certain amount of time, so this just allows the judges to do it when convenient for the jailer and the judge. And we also have added some features for people to be able, since we talked about the virtual options, for people to be able to electronically sign their required legal documents. And so we've added some of those things as well. So moving forward, we're really just going to focus on customer service. So when you come in, you're going to be treated with respect. And if you're not, I want to know about it. Not that you'll get a citation, but if you do. And so that's just something that we really focus on, not only as a department, but as the city of Irving. It's something that we take a lot of pride in. Since I've been there 30-ish years, we have always been rated one of the highest departments for customer service, which is not something you expect of the municipal court. So anyway, that's it for that. I wanted to introduce our next speaker, and we were talking about age, and I can't see the paper that so I'm gonna read it. I want to introduce our Chief Marshal, Scott Wagner. He was recently promoted. He's an amazing man and amazing coworker. Officer Wagner began his career in law enforcement in 1984 with the city of Irving. He spent 33 and a half years with the department, where 1 year was spent in the jail division, 5 years in the patrol division, and 27 years were spent in the special operations division, where he served as a motorcycle officer, a tactical counter sniper, and FBI bomb technician. So he comes with a lot of wow. Officer Wagner spent 5 years as a school-based police officer and a supervisor for Red Oak and Kinley ISD. Officer Wagner returned to Irving in February 2022 as a city marshal, and then was quickly promoted to chief marshal. Officer Wagner holds a Master Peace Officer certificate, TCOL instructor and firearms instructor certificate, an FBI bomb technician, military ordnance technician, weapons of mass destruction, an HME and FBI post blast technician. So as you can tell, he's going to be a lot better. Anyway, okay, without further ado, Scott, can you come up and
It's a lot of work, but it's not really as exciting as everybody thinks it is. It's a lot of boring time, a lot of downtime, but when it does crank up, it is pretty exciting. So as you said, my name is Scott Wagner. I went to work for the city in '84 and retired, like she said, in 2017. Spent 4 years in the school police and ended up having the opportunity to come back to work for the city. The city is a great place. I work with good co-workers, and I couldn't ask for a better place to come back to go to work. She wanted me to speak to you about the city marshals and that. A lot of people here recently, since guys are out moving around more, you see our vehicles, they look like Irving Police Department vehicles, but they say marshals. We are one and the same, and that's kind of the message we try to tell everybody. My peace officer license is no different than a regular officer or the chief of police for IPD. Our licenses are all the same. We all go to the same academy. We all have to maintain the same minimum standards. Really, the only police officer in the state of Texas that has more authority than myself or other officers are your Texas game wardens. Those are the individuals you really just don't mess with. They don't need search warrants. They don't need a lot of things to come and seize animals, guns, houses, property, period. So just to kind of let you know, our authority is the same. Like I said, as a regular police officer, we are police officers. We're just the police department within the municipal court system here in the city. Dallas has in Fort Worth, Louisville, Carrollton, and all that. We all are kind of within the court systems and that. We do work with the police department. We work special events. If you have mass incidents, floods, the tornadoes, anything, hurricanes, when there's jobs that need to be done, we will work hand in hand with the police department as far as
covering shelters and things like that when they need law enforcement presence and that. So within the courts and that, there's, here in Irving, we have a total of 7 marshals, myself included in that group of people. Our duties consist of the court security. We do have 2 security guards that are out front that monitor the metal detector, and we x-ray every piece of luggage or purse or anything like that that comes through. I haven't found hardly any other courts that are doing that, which I was kind of amazed. We monitor all of that along with, we have a bailiff marshal that is assigned to do nothing but courtroom securities. We also fill in with that. He covers all the courtrooms. We have the courts have kind of kicked back up now, so we're having more trials and pre-trials and more citizens that are coming in. He covers the security within the courtroom. He maintains police presence when prosecutors are in there, and definitely when the judges are within the courts. And his primary duty is just that right there. He pretty much stays on the 2nd floor and maintains security up there around the judge and the prosecutors. The other marshals are assigned. We are actually now doing prisoner transports for the police department. The county has had a hard time picking up the prisoners. It's nothing for one of my marshals to transport with a jailer or another marshal, anywhere from 4. I think the most we've had here lately was 14 prisoners at one time that go from the city jail down to the county jail. We have a prisoner transport van, along with, we can also use IPD's transport van also. This kind of relieves the police department from pulling an officer off the streets, as you know, is pretty busy. And it helps them out with their manpower and that if we can do their transfers more than that. We're not so much going out and arresting Class C warrants anymore. As Shelley was saying, for traffic tickets, animal code violations, code enforcement violations, fire code violations, we're more going out knocking on doors trying to get people to come in and take care of them, be it community service, be it a payment plan or anything like that. The jails right now, be it county or city for sure, with COVID still kind of running a little rampant in that right now, they really don't want to put somebody in jail for a $300 ticket if they don't have to. So we're really not going out and doing that right now. It's more community oriented, going out knocking on doors, saying, come in, we are not going to arrest you. We have a standing order, we're not going to arrest you. Come into the courthouse and want to speak to one of the judges or prosecutors and try to take care of your business. That's exactly what we want you to do. It does you no good if they're no good if they're sitting in jail and can't make a living in that. So we want them to come try to take care of the business. We have officers that have been their mental health officers. We deal, it's kind of funny, people don't really realize, we deal with a lot of what the patrol guys deal with. We, as everybody knows, we have a mental health epidemic, and it's, everybody you're dealing with has some sort of an issue that they're dealing with. We understand that. I think the first month there, I had a stabbing victim walk in the front door. I mean, we have all kinds of things. We have domestic disputes that go on, and we have to address those no different than the police side does. So we have one officer that's actually been in the mental health education and got his certification on dealing with the mental health side. Take him off to the side. If he feels and deems it necessary, we'll call the mental health team, which is within the police department, and let them come evaluate. We've had some, they'll come out and they'll evaluate. If they really don't want to put people that have issues in jail, so they'll take them to where they need to be parked with, and let them be evaluated in that. We'll turn them over to them, even though we know that's where they need to go. That's kind of their specialty and their forte, so we kind of allow them to handle it and let them take care of that. Short of that, then we also maintain all the security downstairs. We have probably there's two more guys that are downstairs. The young ladies that work at the front counter, the clerks that work up there and handle all, and if you walk up to pay a citation, people do become upset at times. And a lot of times, if we just stay mobile and moving around, once they see an officer and they don't know the difference, we are pretty much dressed the same. Our patch pretty close to the same, and our badges are a little different, but we just look like police. So most of the time when somebody's upset that, when they see one of us, they'll usually calm down, or we may have to go out and talk to them a little bit. We want them to take care of their business, but they have to do it in a cordial way and not cause disturbance in that. And if they can't calm down, we'll have them let them come back when they're a little bit better, calm down at that point. But any questions about us and what we do?
What kind of training have you had to be able to deal with this broad spectrum?
Oh, that's almost 38 years of law enforcement. I'm going on my 38th year, and I've learned a lot over the last 38 years. Because I can look back to when, if an officer can ever sit and look in the mirror, you grow and mature as you get older as an officer. And I remember talking to people, and just the way you talk to people, your respect with people, keywords. Back in the early 80s and that, it didn't take a lot for people to get angry and upset. And you as an officer know certain things you say and certain ways you present yourself will set people off and get them angry to where they want to fight or amp something up even worse than that. But we go to a multitude of schools too. I've got a little over 4,000 hours of training on the books. And that's everything from like verbal judo down to all different kinds of mental health classes and things like that. The biggest thing is just being on the job and working with people, listening to other officers do their jobs. Because I picked a lot of things up that I've listened to them and go, man, I never thought about it. Man, if somebody calmed down just like that, you're like, yeah, and you look back and you see what he did, and then I've tried the same thing that actually works. Now, some people, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what you do. Some people will not calm down, and some people just have an agenda. That also seems to be kind of a trend nowadays. Is how far can I push the agenda? And if I push it to a certain point, how angry will I make that officer? How far can I get him to go and do something he's not supposed to do? And then you can film it and put it on TikTok or whatever, and then try to sue the city. So your maturity and your professionalism comes in there to know how far you can go with these people, how far you should go with these people. And the big thing too is what you can and can't do. You need to know what the rules and the laws are. Because if you threaten somebody with something, you better be able to back it up. Because you have somebody else out there, I don't care how long you've been doing it, they probably know more than you do on certain issues and that. So if you really don't know something, you can just tell them, hey, I don't know about this, but we'll find out and we'll do it together. Don't jump over something you don't really know, and then you're in a hole and you can't get yourself out of that. So just biggest thing is being professional and being decent with people on that. And that's the biggest thing with the courts. I mean, we have a great reputation with the city as far as customer service. And that comes down to us too. We get it all the time with our marshals, and that somebody will write it up that, hey, this marshal went out of his way to help me get to where I need, or giving me the information that. A lot of them come to us when they want to get married, they want to get divorced, they want to get their driver's license. We help them with that because they just think if they come to the courts, they can handle it there, when really they need to go to Dallas County, or they need to go to the constable's office or anything like that. So it's just years of, like I said, years of experience, schools, and treating people the way that you would treat your own family members and the people you work with. That's a huge thing. Yes, sir.
We're talking about the Team Forward program that you guys have. Do you have any, for anybody that maybe doesn't know what that is, maybe give a little brief, but also, do you have any numbers, how many maybe teenagers go to the program, and also how many teenagers help run that program?
She can hand you on that, sure. But we are there when the team courts are there also.
Right.
We're there for their security. We try not to mingle. That's kind of the new thing now, is we're there, but we try to stay off to the side and that, be there if they want us there, but we let the court people that are assigned to that handle all of that. So she can go over that. That's her side.
So as Shelley and Scott mentioned, really we try to be community partners, and we look to collaborate not only with our police department and our nonprofit organizations. We have a lot of other programs that are different than what you may have traditionally heard from a municipal court. Our teen court program, for instance, the juveniles that come through the Irving Municipal Court, they may be there as a traffic-related offense because they just gotten their driver's license or they're driving without a license. Or they may have come because they have dabbled and made poor choices in other areas, drug paraphernalia, made with alcohol. And we feel like it's our mission to ensure that they are not back to us. And the way that we feel we're most effective is through education and services. And teen court provides one of those avenues in giving them an ability to give back to the urban community in different ways. So the teen court program, we have about 65 active volunteers currently, and that's between teenagers and adults. Again, it takes a village to run a program, and we could not do it without our adult volunteers. Teens serve in roles such as prosecutors, judges, clerks, jurors. The citations that they see are real cases. And so if a juvenile elects to have the teen court program as an opportunity to take care of their case, they're not paying their fine and fee, which makes a lot of sense because who received that citation? The teenager, right? And who would generally pay that citation? Parents, grandparents. It's not their responsibility. So it's an accountability tool to require that teenagers use their time and energy to do something positive. And why not impact the urban community in a positive way by allowing these young people not only to make connections throughout the community, but to work off the fine that they owe. The teen court program was established in 1992 by Jean Griffin, and she was an amazing woman, an amazing public servant who truly had a heart to give back. And so we are proud to have the second largest program in the state. A lot of different legislative changes, though, have kind of altered the trajectory of where we send some of our juvenile cases. And so we've also found that sometimes teen court may not be the most appropriate. And so we have what's called alternative deferral programs for other juveniles. And we found too that when juveniles are making poor choices, it's usually something deep rooted and not something that you can see on the surface. And so we have specific people in place that are trained to get to the bottom of some of those root causes and give them education, tools, resources, counseling, so that they can address that. And not only do we invite the juvenile or the teen to participate in programs like that, we also invite their families. Usually there's siblings involved. Sometimes they come from a broken home, sometimes they don't come from a broken home, but they have a mama who doesn't want to let them go. And while they can never do anything wrong, this is a measure that allows them to kind of give some separation and hold them accountable. The teen court program is a fantastic tool, but it's just one of the tools that we have in our box to make sure that our juveniles are taken care of. That same ideology that we have pushed to juveniles, we've also expanded for our adults. We have found that many of the adults who come to us as well, it's a result of other things that are happening. And generally, if they're going to see us and they're going to also make bigger poor choices that involve Dallas County related offenses, for instance, and they're coming through our administration, they're seeing our judges are giving them the information that they need to connect them to community resources. We are very, very blessed in the city of Irving to have such a plethora of nonprofit organizations that are willing to assist people who come through the municipal court. And so we have focused on using those collaborations to be a more positive impact. And that's the way that we're going to continue going. We find that individual justice is what works best for individual cases. Nobody is the same. And so the prior model, the traditional model, where you just have someone come in and you require them to pay something and send them out the door, that wasn't effective. And so using these new models where we are partnering with other people and we are trying to address other things, we feel like that makes them more productive in Irving society, that helps them give back, that helps us give back, that really makes that impact larger. So we'll continue as a municipal court to work towards those things. Shelley's programs are amazing. We find virtual options are super important. Now the gap between being able to make it to the municipal court to handle your court business is no longer an issue. Childcare is no longer an issue. And so some of those socioeconomic struggles that we found disproportionate between people who could afford to get to us and people who maybe couldn't, we've solved through those virtual climates. And so we'll continue being innovative. I think the city of Irving in general always strives to be our professional, resilient, dependable, ethical, and innovative. And so that's what you're getting from the Irving Municipal Court. We are super interested in coming back though. So if you have more questions about our juvenile program specifically, our community partnerships specifically, let us know and we're happy to present on that in the future. Yes, sir.
How do you monitor that public service with these?
How effective we are, if we're truly being effective. That is a fantastic question. And prior to implementing programs, we do have measures that we put in place. And so we identify and define what we feel like success should look like. So whether it's a recidivism rate, for instance, let's say that we want to see if we gave 100 people this information on getting these resources, how many of those appear back in our court within the next 2 years? If that's 0, that's ideal. That's ideally where we want to be. But we do have measures in place so that we can track them and we can not only tell our story anecdotally, like we're doing today, but through data-driven measures. Thank you.
Jennifer, Shelley, and Scott, thank you so much. Not only did you jump in at the last minute to provide a wonderful program, but that was very educational. I was blissfully ignorant of the court system here in Irving. I've been to the court system in other places, but thankfully not here. And but now I kind of want to get a citation to see if the customer service is really as good as it sounds like. So maybe I won't wear my seatbelt on the way out. Just kidding, friends. But that was a good program, and I'm so appreciative of y'all for being here. Friends, at this time, we will have our next meeting this same time next week here at the club. So please come back and join us. But we are past time, so I invite you to stand. David Harris, would you lead us in the 4-way test for the things we think, say, and do?
4-way test, the things we think, say, and do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Y'all have a blessed afternoon. And if you haven't already, please say hi to Katrina